Here we are again. 2 dumbbells and a microphone. I'm DJ Moore.
And I'm Joey Dussel.
Today's topic. Where's my cheat sheet, bro? Oh,
got the clipboard.
There it is.
Clipboard instead of the whiteboard because the whiteboard is occupied with some copywriting. That'll be a project for everybody in the audience to hear about on a future day.
More information for you.
Yeah, coming soon.
Yeah. Before and afters.
Today, yeah.
Today's topic, before and afters.
Non-scale victories.
Non-scale victories.
And really, kind of the outside of the gym effects that are so much more valuable than the things that the scale can measure.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody has got a hold of this idea yet. We're still not talking about pure fat loss, strength gain, muscle gain, weight loss. We're really not concerned at this point of really bringing this into our discussion. We felt that there's a lot more that comes before this process, even though our culture right now really deems it necessary to talk about fat right away, fat loss right away, weight, image right away, these measurable, right?
Muscular arms, lean waists.
Even the strength of a person, like, hey, get your numbers up, get your weight up, get your, these we're not really focusing on at the moment.
Right. Yeah. If we look at the muscle and men's health magazines over there on the shelf, it's all about 21 days to 21-inch arms and 30 days to 30 inches or 30 pounds up or down, whatever.
Yeah, why do they do that? It's either 30, 60, or 90.
Yeah, it's really nice round numbers.
When did we come up with these numbers in the health community that the 30, 60, and 90 days was what was appropriate? And that might be just another topic. But just to give you a taste of what we're really talking about, it's that kind of idea. This 30, 60, 90 just doesn't really work.
Right.
So we don't promote that.
Yeah, and you've heard it from us before, the industry and the culture of health and fitness might be revolving around some of those super round numbers, right? And some of those nice sound bites, or in this case, the magazine titles. And so what we want to talk about today is the non-scale victories and the things that matter that aren't going to make it onto the cover of the magazine, but I think are actually a much stronger reason and a much more important thing to use for your health and fitness.
Right. Let's go to it just a little bit clearer here. I think how we speak about health and fitness is different than anybody else is speaking about it.
Yeah.
We're actually bringing people if I was to be a listener, I would think, oh, this is the more boring information. This is the information that doesn't hype me up, which doesn't, before and after pictures, we got to see the difference between the before and after, and we're not so much associated with this idea or this brand of being, hey, here's the before, here's the after, but they fail to show the work in between.
Yeah.
Remember in math class?
Even impossible to show the work because it's something that, go ahead.
It just in math class, remember the teacher always tell, at least my math class, the teacher would show your work.
Yeah.
Well, we love a good before and after, right? Somebody's lost 100 pounds. We love that image, right? But that's not it.
Right.
What about all the effort that person went through to get that? Now, of course, we could say, well, this was manufactured by a company who's trying to sell a product, so this is a test result that's not typical.
Reel.
It's not typical of a real, and a more typical result would be, like 10 pounds of weight loss instead. So, but I just want people to understand that when we come about this stuff, the reason we're bringing this information that may seem a little bit more boring and not hyped is because we believe that this is the place you should have been told first.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I'm glad you bring that up because, if a person was maybe feeling like this would be an episode to skip, I think it's actually one, if you have that idea harboring in your head, then you absolutely shouldn't, because if you know what we're talking about, if you're getting a hint of what we're talking about already, then you already understand this goes so much beyond what can even possibly be captured in a photo.
Yes.
Right? The testimonial photo, we can see fantastic results in terms of physical appearance only. And, that's not to say that those aren't important reasons for health and fitness and working really hard in the gym, but we don't see things on the inside, like recognition of how hard that individual has worked, or blood chemistry, like improvements in lipid markers or blood pressure, reduction in prescriptions can't be photographed.
These are awesome markers of a change in health, which don't get enough airtime.
Yeah.
We're so worried about
That's it,
our
exactly.
damn abs and how good our booty is that we haven't even said, hey, check your blood work.
Right.
How is it?
Make sure your heart is healthy.
Well, because we've lost this idea, and we've talked about this off the podcast about what is health, what is fitness.
Right. Yeah.
Magazines and these things that I think we see a lot of are showing fitness, the ability of what fitness can do for that person, but they're not showing you health. They didn't say nothing about your blood work.
Right.
Why is that not more important?
Yeah.
Well, that's why we're counterculture, because we do think that that's more important first.
Yeah.
Way first.
I was just going to say my most meaningful client interactions, you know, the people that I enjoyed working with the most have the most non-scale victories or the most non-photograph victories. And it's things that are just, you know, so much bigger and more potent than any magazine coverage, you know, cover shot could ever do justice to.
I'll give a quick one because this is impromptu, by the way. So my client who skis, she's lost a significant amount of weight over the last 5 years that we've trained. Actually, I think it's been 6. I'm sorry. I can't remember all the years.
Anniversaries.
Yeah. However, she sends me this video of her jumping on her skis, doing a jump. She's 61.
That's awesome.
And she sends me this picture of her doing jumps, but because she's seen me snowboarding, and I've sent her on Instagram, seeing me jump and learn and stuff like that. She's jumping at 61. Non-scale victory? This woman at 61 said, hey, I'm going to learn how to jump a little bit.
That's cool.
The text that she sent, she goes, tomorrow, even higher.
That's a great example of the mindset.
The non-scale victory was her to get back on her skis, feel really comfortable, and now she's actually skipping some training just to go ski.
That's hilarious.
Well,
That's
actually,
just like you. You just skipped the podcast last week to go.
Hey, you know, and I'm glad that I did.
Yeah,
I'm really glad that I did. I had a really good time. So, but that's a non-scale victory that I think we can say to people. It's like she wasn't on her skis when she first met me.
Okay, I was gonna ask.
And now she's jumping on them.
That's cool.
Okay, that's a victory.
Yeah,
has nothing to do with how much weight she has lost. We didn't tell you how strong she was. We just said she wasn't on her skis. Now she is.
Now she is, and she's jumping. That's sort of 2 levels. I love that.
So,
because it would be cool, you know, to be able to achieve. If she had come to you and said, "Hey, I want to be able to jump on my skis," and feel confident about that, or you know, if she had had some skiing-based goals, and you say, "Okay, yeah, we're going to do exercises which will translate into ski performance," that would make total sense to me. And I'd say, "Hey, right on, congratulations, good job." But to have it be the expansion of life activity, being able to do physical activity for fun that's beyond what they did originally, that's so much more meaningful than even hitting that target that they had set out with.
That's been my rule since I started. Rule 76, no excuses, play like a champion.
Yeah.
My whole design of, you know, my website and all that is all about playing again, getting back to that state of playing again. We're going to start you from scratch. We're going to get to the next level, then the next level, and then I'm going to ask you, hey, you want to go play again? Let's go. Pick up your board, pick up your skis. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Pick up something, right? And let's go play again. So, again, this is why I resonate so hard with her jumping. It was like, oh, she's playing again. She's having more fun now at this age than a lot of her friends. And I think we're just missing out. And I want to have fun, man.
Yeah, see, so you got to identify with it too, you know, that desire to be able to engage in play, and then to be able to spread it out to other people is cool. That's the coaching blood coming through.
I want it to be contagious, man. I want other 61-year-old women to go, I want to jump on my skis again, or I'd like to go skiing again, or guys to go, I want to go snowboarding and whatever. Yeah, of course. This is kind of my main goal for people is back to play.
Yeah.
Did I nail? Was that one of them out of order?
It's on there. That's great. Yeah. No.
Well, I had to because it's such important for us to highlight our clients doing well too, without saying, "Oh, my client lost 100 pounds." Yeah. Okay. Fine.
And that's great. We're not minimizing. 100 pounds is a fantastic amount.
Crazy.
In fact, the reason you bring that up is because we were looking at a post on the internet, and we'll just keep it completely anonymous because I don't know who this person is, but they posted about 100-pound weight loss.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Right. And so I'll give you I'll give the audience the entire story because DJ already knows this. But I found this post over the weekend. This individual says, hey, I've lost 100 pounds and I have nobody to celebrate that with. So I'm going to make this post. And of course, he's showered with compliments and awards on the internet. But the body of this post includes a few pictures of his results, this 100-pound weight loss difference, and some information about what he did to achieve that, some of the life changes he made. And the craziest line is in there. There's a single sentence. After he includes the photos, he says, "Looking at these pictures, I would have never thought I looked any differently." So looking in the mirror, he sees himself every day. He doesn't recognize a 100-pound weight loss difference on his body until that moment where he places the before and after pictures next to each other. And I thought that was such a poignant story. I said, hey, I got to make sure we bring this up on the podcast and say the way we're looking at ourselves, the way we live, the way we interact with all of our everyday activities, we can get kind of familiar with that because it's almost the same every day.
Absolutely.
And before and after pictures, scale results, or comparing activities like skiing and then the next season, skiing again, that kind of stuff is so much bigger than just the 100 pounds of weight loss, of gravity down onto the floor.
True. Yeah. And that's one of the things that's what we've been sort of seeing mostly from our culture, right? Is the before and after, like this extreme loss. Is if this is the key here. I don't think you necessarily need to show it to people. I think it's something like this to be something just for you. So if you're embarrassed to put something like this out there, which I can understand, like, why would you want to see my 100 pounds of weight loss? You might still be uncomfortable with your body type. What's important, I think, for you as whoever's listening to this and thinks about doing this is do it for yourself, right? Just take the picture so no one can see. Same clothes, same background, same hairstyle, comparable. Keep them very comparable, and take them in private and keep them for yourself so that you can see your journey. I think that that's highly important for a lot of people who are struggling to see that 20 pounds does look different, but you're definitely going to need to see a picture.
Yeah, I've had clients who lose 20 pounds and they feel like they're at a standstill, and it's not until we take that comparison shot and say, look, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, this time last year, and then suddenly it can be, instantly visible. So we're not saying that the before and after photos and the magazine content is not valuable. It's just that we have to make sure that we recognize that it's just a small wedge in the pie.
Yeah.
It only shows a little piece of the picture.
What it should look like is the magazines back in the day that I used to get as a kid, the skate magazines. So they had the pictures of how to do the trick.
Okay.
Right. And it would be 100 or 20 different pictures of them starting to do the trick. Right.
So this would be like a step by step, sort of like a stop motion images.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I have martial arts books the same way.
Just a ton of photographs. Yeah. I think that that's how your before and after picture should end up sort of being, instead of just first and last.
Oh yeah.
It should be 30 of them.
Right. Progress over
so you could
a lifetime
really
of
see
fitness.
That. Yeah. And I think that might be a better way to go about this: before, during, and then wait.
Yeah.
Is there an after? Wait.
There's like an in progress
is it
constantly.
Just always in progress?
Yeah. That's interesting. I have to think about that more because it is a good point. We shouldn't have this kind of start-stop mentality. Now, the before picture can be a snapshot in time, and it can capture what you look at, so we can have that good reminder. But as far as an after photo, I like the idea of kind of we're still going photo. We're still
put
progressing.
what is that? Put an asterisk by that. It's like this is an ongoing.
Yeah.
And
something else I'm thinking about while you were talking, I'm imagining like maybe we should make a magazine cover, and we'll actually dedicate the square inches of the page to the different components of health and fitness. And we'll have appearance be on there, but it should just be maybe 10%. And then there's a headline about blood chemistry and heart health and cardiovascular and bone density and, being able to pick your kiddos up or snowboard or get air on a jump, even as an older person. Now that'd be a really cool magazine to show that there's a totality that is so much bigger than just your physical appearance and what you look like.
A magazine that would say, because I lost 100 pounds and adopted a healthy lifestyle, eating, sleeping, I'm now doing this thing, this activity, because I lost 100 pounds. Not to focus in I lost 100. This magazine would sound great to me. Right. Like, oh, you lost 100, but what are you doing minus the 100 now?
Yeah.
That's point. A cool magazine to
Uh-oh, we'll have to get our camera going
Nope.
again. And we're back. All right. Well, quick little technical interruption, but we're recording again. Camera's good. Podcast audio still here. Back to the clipboard. Thank you, sir. We were talking before and after pictures.
Yep.
We're talking about how they're just totally a small snippet of what we can get from a health and fitness journey. And when we're covering the before and after picture, we also want to make sure that we have, for you as the audience member, the understanding that these pictures, even if they feel, kind of like, they can feel kind of bad to take, especially the before picture. It can be a recognition of, maybe something that you're not happy with. But as DJ said earlier, those photos can be just for yourself. You don't have to share them with anyone or post them publicly. You can just have them as a measure of your progress over time. And then ultimately, hopefully, a nice trophy, a victory that you can look back on and say, wow, look what I've been able to achieve. And here it is, proof right in front of me.
Yeah. I like this idea that once we've lost this, whatever goal weight that you have chosen or whatever outfit you wanted to wear. Let's say
point.
A lot of people like losing weight before weddings.
Favorite article of clothing.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the things I wanted to bring up, I just went 180 here because it just came to my mind that it's the clothing that I have found it to be interesting. Keep an article of clothing that is the before clothing. And keep one piece or two pieces, like a shirt or a pair of pants or a dress or something that was snug on you, or that it's something that doesn't fit you now because you have changed your body in a significant way, and then put it on again. You've seen this right before, picture where the person's holding their pants way out from their waist.
Right. Iconic,
so much,
big waistline, now small.
Do that too for yourself. I think you'd be surprised. I know one of my clients who lost quite a bit of weight, putting on clothes like that, just a real quick, like, fist pump. I'm like, this thing used to be snug. Wow. These things too are really helpful for a client to motivate.
See, so we got the photos, right? And we can see that appearance difference. And then what you're talking about is, once again, some form of measurement, this time with clothing.
Yeah.
Where we compare kind of that favorite article of clothing that was tight and now is loose, or it was big and now you're small. And I think something that goes sometimes unnoticed, or I should say unannounced, is that those photos and those clothing measurements can go the other way too. Like for an individual who's scrawny or skinny and looking to gain muscle mass, maybe you keep that size small shirt that then later on you can barely fit into, or you can say, wow, look at this, a tank top, and now I finally have some shoulders to show off inside of it. And so those can go both ways. And I think that the scale doesn't always have to go down for us to be progressing, right? And a before and after, or a progress photo, maybe we should call it. A progress photo can show a change in body composition while the scale stays the same, right? Where maybe you've gained the same amount of muscle as the fat you've lost. And
we've seen this before happen.
Yeah.
And people get bugged out about this. They're like, I'm same weight. I'm like, yeah, you're the same weight, but the shape is it's changed.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's key to keep in there. And I'm glad you brought that up, because we do, as coaches and trainers, we talk about always losing. Like we're constantly getting forced with this idea of like loss. I've lost. You got to lose it all. I'm like, no, Joe, you're right.
Yeah.
What if you put on 5 pounds of muscle?
Sometimes lighter is not healthier. Yeah.
100% true.
Yeah.
And so, I'm glad that you brought that up. Because
so the weight we'd want to gain would be muscle. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But ideally, if a person was to get down to a point in their weight loss career, they might actually change from a weight loss goal to suddenly a weight gain goal. Now we're trying to gain muscle mass. And I'm thinking right now this could be a female who's looking to add strength so she can continue to influence her bone density and, of course, live her life as a mom and a spouse. Hell yeah, you might be better off going from 130 to 135, right? Gaining weight on the scale, but your body still trimming down or gaining ability, right? Maybe your shoulders get a little larger, but you can do more with those.
You'd have more fun.
Exactly, yeah. And so while we're talking about before and after photos, or progress pictures, I think is a more accurate term, with progress pictures, with scale measurements. It's not in a way to avoid the accountability. We don't want to be giving ourselves the time off and not holding ourselves to those standards of some type of measurement, but it's also to make sure that we are representing and recognizing all the parts of your health and fitness.
Oh man, there's this word again. Health and fitness. Well, I cannot wait. I really think we need to put this podcast out eventually. Talking about, ask everybody, please define health.
Let's do it. Put the call out right now.
Yeah.
Let's get comments and messages of what people's definitions would be.
And not to steer too far from this topic because that takes it too long. But yeah, if you're listening to this, I don't Google it first, okay? Don't go on the internet and be like, define health, define fitness.
We could do that too.
Yeah,
also.
And I know the definition, so you're not going to fool me with or sound smart to me if you just get it off Google. I want you to genuinely think it means to you.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to give it the right or wrong answer because I know for a fact we've been being misled this whole time for years, saying health and fitness and define fitness too as well.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. So to be clear, health separate from fitness.
That's right.
I know why we define those two differently, and I think that's what we'll cover in a future episode. But until then, let's have this be the call for comments and messages, however you want, wherever you're hearing this. Yeah, get back to us with your definition of health and your definition of fitness. Yeah, and if those are the same, that's fine. If they're radically different, that's fine. If you think it's silly to separate them, tell me. Let us know. But let's get into that and see what kind of responses we get before we put out our episode on it.
I think that topic that we get on is going to be a cloud lifter.
Yeah, that'll be cool. I'm looking forward to it.
A fog mover. It's going to open up some people's eyes to see things a lot more clearly, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll be good.
Where else are we? Are we close?
Well, yeah. So we've covered kind of the playtime and the quality of life that's never captured in a photograph. And I just want to make sure that we really make it clear that I think is the number one main goal that we should have from any gym effort, any nutrition effort. If you're trying to stretch out, anything you're trying to do differently, it should be for the main reason of how it affects your 24/7 life, right? And so that is automatically going to be, for most people, it's going to be outside of the gym.
Yep.
Unless you're a trainer and you spend most of your day in the gym, then maybe you can be in that category. But for most people, we want to make sure that, a fat loss goal, if that's what we're working for, it's an objective measurement towards a bigger purpose.
Yeah. Oh, wow, there it is. Watch out.
There you go. Episode 2.
Is it
2A for you? Pillars.
You're going to catch me every single time.
I think I look at them all the time. Sometimes I mix them up. But, the idea of that is, hey, we're trying to achieve fat loss because when a person has achieved that, it would represent a certain state of health, which would allow them to engage in the thing that is more towards their purpose, right? Being a spouse, parent, grandparent, whatever. And so that's your 24/7 activity.
Yep.
And so if you want to measure fat on your body, whether it's with the scale or a DEXA scan or a piece of clothing or it's just progress pictures, we're not going to free ourselves from the measurement because we have to make sure we're headed in the right direction and that we're holding ourselves accountable to something, right? That's just a known strategy. We know that works better for us. And so I recommend for people to have some sort of revolving metric, right?
Sure.
But make sure that it's something that is actually going to represent what matters to you beyond just the measurement itself.
We could sum up this whole episode as just by that alone right there.
Sweet.
It's whatever measurement you want to use that will get us to showing us that we're obtaining that goal. And like you said, doesn't matter what, it could be the progress pictures.
Right.
That's what's the important message here. I think everybody should take away.
Yeah.
Clothing, pictures, tape measure, any of these things. But ultimately, it ends up having a purpose.
That's it. Yeah. There's a reason for that measurement. Why do we care if we fit into this shirt differently? Why do we care if we push down onto the floor harder, right? That's the scale weight. There has to be a purpose for those measurements. And if we really want to be, given real advice, I like to use all of them and I rotate through them. So
there we go. Okay.
Progress picture on day 1, week 1. After that, scale weight, the second week. Third week, we do the circumference measurement around the waist or the arm or the chest or all three. or whatever matters to you. 4th week, we come into our article of clothing, right? And then on the 5th week, we're coming back around. We're going back to that first measurement for a second test. Well, now we have enough time in between data points that we can see a little bit of a trend, right? It's not weighing every single week. It's something every week,
right?
But it's a month between weigh-ins, right? And that way we're held accountable to something, but we're not going to be able to be looking so closely as to be neurotic about one small change on one measurement.
Yeah, I think that's important to note too. That's a good point, because the fixation on a scale weight for people is bad.
Yeah.
Like, they could get real screwed up by looking at numbers all the time. And if that number doesn't reflect what they think it should be in their head, or if their head doesn't match that scale, it's a defeating point for them.
Right.
So
Can
that's
really
why
be
I don't
detrimental.
agree with, if you're going to do these measurements here, the scale should be once a month.
Once a month at the most frequent, I think.
I'm okay with that. Some people probably...
That's the one I battle with the most, because it's primarily women who want to avoid any gain whatsoever. Guys, they want to avoid gaining fat too, but they're more okay with gaining muscle. And if they go from 170 to 175 because they're bigger shoulders, they're into that. Most women would say, no way, I don't want bigger shoulders. It's like, dang it. Hey, Susie, all the things you just told me that you wanted to be able to do physically, playing with your kids and carrying all the groceries, they come from bigger shoulders, and we could get nuanced and talk about the strength of muscles like on your upper back that don't add to your shadow, right? They don't build your silhouette. So you don't look any more bulky when your upper back is strong, and that's going to make it easier to carry those groceries. And so, for her, if she is going to look at the scale only, there will be a point where she would need to go up on that number, but then she would experience a boost in all her other important things. And that can be sometimes a little bit of a hard talk, again, particularly for women. So if you hear this, take it.
Well, I've trained a lot of ladies in my day so far, and I've heard many a times from them, from sitting in front of me and just talking. They're like, I don't want to bulk up when we train. I don't want to get all muscular. And sometimes I just kind of laugh inside and I'm like, well, okay, perfect, because we've got 90 other things to do before we could even consider making your arms too big so that you don't want to show them. Like you got to go through so much more transformation before that even happens. And I used to get it all the time. Like, you're not going to make me all muscly. And I'm like, nope, I'm sure I'm not.
It's comical, right? And it brings up that laughter because it's like they're basically saying, like, I don't want to get my driver's license because I'm going to go as fast as a NASCAR. And it's like, no, dude, like, there's so much less before that. You can stop way earlier. Wow. And it's a little bit of a comical situation for someone to say, hey, I don't want the results that come from an obsessive life that's totally different than how I currently live. And that's what it would be, right? To look like a bodybuilder, the bulky look that they're afraid of.
Yeah.
They would have to do totally different eating, different life, not be the parent anymore, and it's like, dang, that's really not a valid reason to withhold your beginning effort. Get started. And then when you start to close in on those things you're afraid of, when you're starting to get too bulky, then you can taper off a little bit, right? But don't stop.
Or maybe you get to that point and you start to like it. You're like, oh, wait, I thought this would be a bad look. Maybe this is a look I do like. Mm-hmm. Maybe when you start looking like that, you start getting a lot of compliments from other people. Like, oh, you've got really nice shoulders, nice arms.
Yeah.
Well, that would only press me more to continue with what I'm going. So
big time.
Before you ladies say don't want to gain muscle to gain weight,
you might want to.
You would change your mind. And I got a couple clients who would tell you the same thing too. Like, well, wait a minute. Actually, this looks good.
Yeah.
Of course.
I'm glad you bring that up, actually, because I'm thinking of someone we both know from our training before. I would use her all the time. She's this little spitfire weightlifting gymnast, and I would be working with female clients for weight loss. And they'd say, hey, I don't want to get bulky. I don't want to weigh any more than X number of pounds. And I'd go out onto the floor with them and say, hey, do you see her over there? How much do you think she weighs? And our coworker was totally okay with this. She was in on it. Mm-hmm. She knew I was using her as this example. And she told me her numbers. And so they'd say, oh, geez, she's so cute. And look at her great shoulders and butt. And she's probably 115 pounds. I'd say, dead wrong, 140 or maybe 135. And it was because of the density of that muscle tissue, right? And so I was able to kind of give that example, and I share it with everybody now to say, again, weight loss, right? Number going down is not the not the complete story. And if we use our multiple metrics, if we're rotating throughout the month, then we can use the majority of those to see and make sure we're going in the right direction, right? If your life is getting better, your clothes, your waistline's getting smaller, the scale is going up, but you also fit into your clothes better, right? Did I say that twice? Anyways, you get the point.
Mm-hmm.
You're ending up with 3 out of those 4 headed in the right direction. Then I'm going to disregard the fact that the scale is reading a little heavier.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I'm not even going to look at it.
Yeah.
Not even going to care.
Yeah. Bingo. Cool. All right. I hope I didn't cut you off on something there. I think.
Oh, dude, you're ready.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that was it. Are we that close to being done?
I'm not sure. We're all screwed up here on our timestamps because we had that technical interruption. I'm not sure how long we've been recording here, but I think we've covered everything. And I just want to make sure, if you're listening to this and there is anything that you've been thinking of that we've left out, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Send questions, comments, concerns, ideas, suggestions. You can get to us by email, social media, YouTube. We're all over the place now. So find a way to message us and make your voice heard back at us so that we can bring it into the show as well.
Sounds great, man.
Cool. Whoops. Oh, sorry. Play some music here and we'll be done. Jeez, good one to be finished with. Oh, boy.
All right.
Cool.
Sum it up.
Yeah.
Finish it up. Recap this whole thing.
Thank
if
you
guys...
for listening, first and foremost.
Yeah.
And in today's episode, I know we were kind of wide-ranging and covering a lot and a little distracted, but we talked about the progress pictures and the measurements, right, and the scale and the things that aren't even represented when we just look at those metrics. So we really want to push people towards the outside of the gym results, those 24/7 things that you're going to notice all the time, right? Play. Activities of daily living, that's easy now, or things that are possible that you couldn't do before. Those are the ones that we really hope would be your primary driving factors for your health and fitness motivation. And then we want to make sure that we recognize those metrics and say, hey, let's use these in a proper way to our advantage and maybe in kind of that rotating format that we laid out today.
Yeah, let's go ahead and have some victories that are not always number related.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and give ourselves that option instead of having to follow the trends that we've always seen for the many years. It's like, hey, there's other ways to show these victories, guys. And it's important for you to see that you can show your progress other ways.
That's perfect, DJ. It's beyond just the pictures, right? We talked about the images, and then it's beyond the numbers, because we could recognize the value of blood chemistry improvement or bone density improvement, right? Those would be numeric still. But they should even satisfy the end result of feeling confident that you're not going to get hurt because you feel that robustness and you can live your life the way you want to.
Absolutely.
Right? So beyond the pictures, beyond the numbers, get into those things that are non-measurable.
Yeah. Let's get back to playing, folks. Let's wrap it up.
Right on, man.
All right.
That's great. Thank you for listening. See you next time.